Hey, hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me this beautiful Saturday. It's been a while. Vince, what's up, Vince? Long time no talk, buddy. How's the baby? Man, I think it's been a while since I saw you. Yeah, arsenic. It is April Fool. I didn't realize it was April Fool until I looked at the date to put on the live title. Oh man, baby girl is 15 months old. Wow, how I bet you she's she's a handful already. They start to move around, start walking like at a year, and then you're gonna have to be chasing the baby. Yeah, guys, what's up? Thank you for joining me on this beautiful Saturday. Too busy to move it to plant anything. Yeah, I bet. It's having a new baby changed. Just changes everything. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I bet you're glad that you can't plan anything. Catherine, your son was born in April Fool's. This is his birthday. Well, happy birthday to him. Look at that. Mossy got some snow last night. You know what, guys? Yeah, I saw on the news that in some places there's still snow, covering everything. So yeah, we're very fortunate in Texas. The weather is just beautiful right now. Heiko, good afternoon or good morning from Germany. Hello there. Good to have you guys. It's been a while. So again, I don't have anything planned. I just want to come on, say hello, just so you guys don't forget about me. I'm still here. Is it Catherine said you're getting a lot of rain? Okay, maybe that might be a good thing. Get the ground all prepared and until the seasons is ready to go. Do some planting. Yeah, Black Mamba, you got some rain also. Yeah, in Texas we've gotten consistent rain. I think almost every week for the last month. So I mean, I'm not complaining because I planted a lot of trees, and I have cool weather plants that are growing right now. Like my arugula is going nuts right now, guys. It's awesome. So the garden is starting to wake up. My fruit trees are starting. The buds are starting to form. The leaves are coming out. My persimmon trees are looking amazing. Let's see, arugula raised bed is just looking great. I have peppers that I'm getting ready to transplant outside. I got a bunch in the grow tent, and I also have a lot, grown in the aero garden and stuff like that. So I got a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be very exciting. Yeah, this time of the year is when you start to rake the grass to get it to wake up. Yeah, the grass needs to be cut. I did that the other day. It was a good workout. Yeah, arsenic. Today you have to start the season. If you can start it early inside, that way it gives you like a head start. Look, guys, look what I'm doing. I brought this to show you how special this is. I grew this plant in a bubble tea cup. So, I usually go get bubble tea like this. And so I saw this container and I thought the quality was really good and it looks nice too. So I saved the container and see I cut a hole right here and then I drop a seed inside and the seed comes out through the hole. So I never have to open the top and I have the straw right here. You see the straw? It's the same as the bubble tea straw. It's the same straw that come with the cup and it goes all the way down to here. So when I feed the plants, I feed, the water goes to the bottom like this. And so it forces the roots to all come down like this to get to the nutrients. So it builds a really stable foundation. And look at all the roots. See if you see that? Those are all the roots around. And then, I just try to cover the roots. So I have this koozie that we have a holiday party that I saved. And look at all the flowers, guys. And the pods on this are so amazing. You see those tails? Look at that tail. You can see that, and the fruits on this are just amazing, guys. It's such an awesome variety. This is my lingria that I've been working on for a while. You see the tail? But there's like hundreds of flowers. Look at the bottom of this. You see all those flowers? And it's very small. You see, it's around 6 inches high. It's not even shorter than that, but it's wider than it's high. And it's such a beautiful plant. And you see, I pluck all the leaves down here because the canopy is so big that it blocked all of the leaves down here. And all of these are basically not good growth because they're not going to do anything. They're just draining the energy. So I pluck them all to make them nice and clean so I can get to the straw and water the uh, the container. And so when I water it, all I have to do is take a cup like this and just water like this. And yeah, so this is such an amazing way to grow things, keep it small, and recycle. That's a good reason. You recycle this cup, so you don't trash it. And it has a straw. You recycle the straw as well. You see, and everything just looks amazing. So I highly recommend trying this, guys. It's a lot of fun. It's very easy, and you can learn so much by doing this. But you can also have a beautiful plant that will, produce a lot of peppers. And then I have some other ones. Look at these right here. See, these are hydro systems. This is different than the other ones because this is hydroponic. So let me show you. I'll come to the question if you guys have in a bit. I haven't been reading the comments, but I will. You see, you see those are the root system, and all it is this is just a mini hydroponic system with a net cup. And look at the pods, guys. See, and these pods right here, and look at all the flowers on a little tiny plant. See that? And all it is just a water bottle right here, and then you cut it at this line right here. Just cut around, and then you drop the net cup inside. The net cup is a 2-inch net cup with a rock wool. You drop it in there, and it has a little reservoir. So this area right here is your air root area. This area right here is your water root area. So this is how it breathes without having any circulation going into it. It breathes by using these roots up here. And down here is where it takes in oxygen. So these are the water roots. And so that's how the plants breathe without having to have you guys having to pump air into it. So it's very cool. And you can get a lot of fruits on a tiny plant. And this is how I cross. I already showed you guys in many videos. So I take one variety here and another variety here. I take the pollen and I cross it that way. And when you do it inside, it's very easy to control. And you have like literally, I think like 50% more success rate. Oh, I4 Organic. Hello, my friend. Thanks for coming by. I'm a big fan of your channel. I have your fig that you sent me. I think it was like a year ago, and it's still growing. Let me see. Let me go back to the questions. I have a lot of stuff, but let's see if I missed any questions. Oh, yeah, there it is right here. What is your pH tap water in the US? So where I am, I think the pH is around 7.9 to 8.3 right out of the faucet. And the perfect pH for me is I drop it down to around 5.9 or 6. And that seems to work the best. And so, just drop it to around 6 and it's awesome. Let's see. Well, yeah, and so that's what I've been doing. I have a whole bunch of plants. Let me show you a few more. So this is the one that I just started, you see? And I give it a snip right here. I cut it right here. Here's the difference, guys. Let me show you why I always cut my plants when I grow it inside. You see, this one here, I didn't cut it at all. And you see inside the small container, you see all the flowers focused here. I don't have any much of sides branches, and I didn't cut this one, and it stayed pretty compact, which is nice. But this one, I chopped it right here, and you see I forced the size to grow right here. And the reason I do that is because I'm trying to keep it small, but also I want the size to come out. And because I'm doing this in hydroponic, it's much easier. It's very forgiving when you top the plants in hydroponic because there's always nutrients 24/7. And when you grow inside, there's no temperature, no season. So every single day throughout the year is the same consistent temperature. And so the when you cut a plant, it doesn't affect it too much as you would if you do it outside. When you do it outside, it does set your plant back pretty a lot. And then by the time the winter arrives, you may not the plant may not catch up. So it may not be a good idea to top your plants when it's outside. So you have to gauge, and know your season. But some people don't like to top the plants. I understand exactly why. Um, but I do it because it's in hydroponic and I'm trying to keep it as small as possible. And so that's the reason why I did it. So I did it to this one also, you see? And then I have a few that I didn't top. Look how it gets really tall. I don't get too many of the sides. I have another one I can show you. So here's the other one. You see, I didn't chop it, and it got so tall. It touched the light, and when it touched the light, look at this guy. It turns yellow. And so that's one reason why I always chop it so that I can keep it as small as possible. And so you can see the difference in size. If I chop it, you see that it's much shorter. So it's easier for me to control inside my grow light and grow tent, or I mean, sorry, the light that I have, because I'm using the AeroGarden light, and the AeroGarden light is very, very weak. So the higher you put it, the weaker it is. And so your plant doesn't get the intensity it needs, so it doesn't grow well. And so that's the reason why every time when you see me grow in these little cups right here, I just chop it. I chop it right here to keep it small. And this is the result of the chopping. You see it? So you see the difference? So yeah. Let's see. Did I miss any questions? Will you stop pulling the flowers this season? When will you stop pulling flowers during this season? You should stop pulling the flowers once the plant get to the size that you want it to be. Once it get to a good size that you want it to be, stop pulling off the flowers. Or you gauge the season, see how much time you have left, because once the plant begin to flower, it'll take another month or so to fruit, and then maybe another month to finally get it to the stage that you can harvest. So you got to give it 2 months at least to get back in motion again. And so if you're so late in the season already, make sure you don't do that. Let's see. Oh, the Chili Northerner. Yes, thank you so much for watching me all these years. Chili Chum is a good, great grower. I really enjoy his channel. His quality, the video quality is amazing, guys. He does a lot of good stuff. He teaches you how to grow, also make hot sauce and all that. So yeah, if you haven't seen the Chili Chum, he's very, very famous and a good person to follow for if you want to grow chilies. Have I noticed any difference with hydro indoor versus hydro outdoors? You know what? I never test that. I only test soil against the hydro, but I have never tested the hydro indoor versus the hydro outdoor. But I know there is a significant difference in the way they grow. In the outside temperature, they get damaged easily because it's windy, it's very sunny, the sun outside is much stronger. Sometimes you get occasional bugs as well. So the plant outside go through rougher times, and so they're harsher in texture too. So that thing I noticed. So I think there may be a difference in flavor too because of that. But you know what? You asked a really good question because I may have to experiment with that. Yeah, Catherine, you're right about roses. I mean, I don't grow roses as much as my parents do, and yeah, they follow some regimen when to prune and when to stop and all that stuff. So I guess peppers are the same. You can prune them at a certain time of the year, but at a certain point you have to stop and allow them to grow, or else the season will catch up, and then you don't have time once the winter gets here. But another thing, guys. Towards the end of the season, when the temperatures start to cool down a little bit, that's when your pepper produce the most, and it will also produce the best, like production. And so you have to gauge it and then allow it enough time so that it can get down to the cool temperature. Then it will push out like so much pods. And so yeah, make sure you stop at the right time. Any tips on controlling aphids? Yes. One thing that I would recommend to control aphids is that do not over fertilize with high nitrogen fertilizer, or do not over fertilize, period. Because when you over fertilize, you would almost definitely are going to attract a lot of aphids. Feeding your plants too much causes them to be very weak and prone to like insects and all that stuff. So I noticed in my early years of growing, I always get aphids right after I fertilize. And so after the years, I start experimenting and I write down notes. And so I just know that anytime you over fertilize with high nitrogen, you're gonna get aphids like crazy, like mad aphids. So make sure your fertilizer is on a schedule. Do it, just consistently, but don't overdo it. You know. So in the springtime is when the aphids start to come out. Like once the temperature just start to warm up, for us is in mid-March. Mid-March is when aphids just they just come, and the aphids are not bad because, I mean, don't take that wrong. They're not bad if they're not. Let's see, there's not an infestation, because aphids feeds my ladybugs. I have ladybugs all over my trees, all over my plants, and so I leave the aphids for them to eat. And so if you keep spraying and killing all the aphids, then you won't see ladybugs come by. And so if you don't have an infestation, don't worry about it. As long as you keep your schedule correctly, everything balanced in the garden, the aphids population will take care of itself. And so I think over the last few years, I don't have aphids problem. It's because I learned that there's certain things that you have to do. First you attract the beneficial bugs by not killing all the bad bugs, but also grow plants that So lately I have been growing, let's see, what is it? Lemongrass. I was testing lemongrass, guys. I think it's working. I can't say for sure if it's working like definitely for sure, but I know that when I grow lemongrass right next to my pepper plants, and as a matter of fact, I'm propagating lemongrass right here. And all it is, oh man, I need to water this thing. All it is I just put water. I cut a little piece of the lemongrass, put water in, and it grows like this. And so when I grow the pepper plants outside, this is how I do it. I grow my pepper plants and my lemongrass next to each other like this. And when you smell this, guys, no wonder the bugs don't like this. It has a very strong smell. And so every time I grow this plant next to my pepper plants, that particular plant never get any pests. But I can't say for sure that 100% that this is the reason. So that's why I always say I don't know yet. And then another thing that I do is this one I know for sure. I always grow radishes right next to my pepper plants, and the aphids go to the radishes first before it goes to my pepper plants all the time. It's like, I think that is like a for sure answer. Grow radish. I don't know what it is, but the radish attracts all of the aphids first. And they won't go to your pepper plants. They go to the radish first, and then they'll go to the pepper plants if there's nothing else. So I do grow a few radishes nearby, and then the aphids will go attack the radishes and leave my peppers alone. But again, I don't have an aphid problem too often because I have a lot of ladybugs that always come and visit. Oh, and also, I have a lot of what is it that these bugs? Um, what are those? Lacewings. I have a lot of lacewings on my trees, and so the lacewings also help take care of those too. And then every season, I have a lot of wasps. You know, these big, I think they're called paper wasps, and they're all over my garden, and they take care of all of the like the worms for me, like the cabbage worms, the and sometimes even uh, the hornworm get taken care of for, you know. And so I don't get a lot of pests as I used to. I just keep everything balanced, get a good fertilized schedule. I don't overdo it, and then it just does everything for me. Yes, a praying mantis will control some of the bugs, but you know the funny thing is praying mantis will eat anything it can catch. So I see it I see it often eating my bees and stuff. You know, it'll grab the bees and just eat it. So praying mantis is good, but it's also bad because it'll eat anything it can find. Assassin bugs are pretty good too. You see those guys, they look really cool. How short was my lemongrass when I put it in the water? Very short. Let me show you. It's just a small little piece. See? Well, I cut it and I put it in the water. It's like this big. Just a very short little cut. Oops. Yep. So you don't have to have a piece this big. You can cut it as small as this, just the bottom of it, and that's enough to propagate. Beaker, thank you so much. Let's see. In Florida, we have few aphids now. Took a spray bottle and spray the plants. Yeah, aphids are pretty easy to take care of. That you know they usually clumped into one area, and if you spray that area, they just all die. You know, all you need is soap and water. You can use soap, water along with neem oil, but really all you need is just soap and water, and they would still die. You know, so you don't need to go crazy by buying all kinds of stuff that are really expensive to treat aphid. They're they just spray them with neem oil and soap. Sometimes soap alone will do it. And sometimes I get aphids at the top of my trees that I cannot reach. They're like way up in the tree, and all I do is I get a jet spray of my water and I spray them, and then that take care of them too. So really, you don't need like all of these expensive pest control for aphids. You just blast them off with water, and and that would also help. So that's what I do with my trees because I can't reach them. Art, greetings from Netherlands. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed the video. Plant obsessed. Yeah, I do love lemongrass too. We cook a lot with it. So we do like lemongrass chicken and all that stuff. So it's a win-win for me because I grow them for the pests, and then I use the water to spray the bugs. You can seep lemongrass with water, put it in a bottle, add a little bit of soap, and then spray, and that takes care of some of the bugs too. And it's pretty natural, so you don't harm your plants or you don't harm yourself by putting chemical if you don't like that. And I planted next to my tree. It smells great. Every time I come by, I smell the lemongrass, and it's pretty cool. Oh man, famous cake. Oh gosh, I have like a sweet tooth. I love cakes. You know what? I do pass by Waco all the time because I drive from Houston to Dallas often, and so we always no that's the other way. Is it? Yeah, we pass through Waco. Uh, any image. How's the property? The property is looking great right now. It's so beautiful. I planted a bunch of trees, like fruit trees. I had like I planted pear trees, uh, a few persimmon trees, a few fig trees, apple trees, nectarine, and so yeah, there's a lot going on out there. We have cows running on the property right now, and so maybe I should do an update to show you guys just to see what's going on. It's very pretty right now this time of the year. Not an orchard, but I just do one row of plant. So from the front of the property all the way to the pond. So every 20 feet I had a tree. So I plant like let's see, 8 to 10 trees, I think, right now. That's what I'm starting with. But eh, what I'm trying to do is I'm testing to see if I can plant the trees without me having to be there to water it. And if it stays alive, then I'll plant a lot more trees, like a whole orchard of it. And I think if I do that, I have to like connect water and stuff like that to it. But right now, I'm just testing. I try to plant blue bonnets on the property, guys. Again, I mentioned this before. I don't know what I'm doing with blue bonnets right now. Like out of a whole bag that I planted, I think like 5 or 6 of them sprouted. So next year I'm gonna do it again. The blue bonnet seeds are so expensive. I think I'm gonna go buy next to the field that is nearby here where they have blue bonnets everywhere. I'll just collect some of those seeds and see if I can grow those. The ones I bought, it didn't sprout too well. Yeah, I love blue bonnets. I think they're one of my favorite plants. Every time, when you drive down from Dallas to Houston on the side of the freeway, they have so many blue bonnets. And sometimes I just stop by to take a few pictures. They're just so beautiful. They're just such amazing plants. Man, I'm having the pepper plant sit right in front of me, and it smells amazing, guys. Have you ever smelled like pepper flowers? They're very, very floral and fragrance. The fragrance is really, really nice. So they're sitting right here next to me, and it smells amazing. Yeah, I gotta put it. The lemon starburst smells like juicy fruits. Yeah, I'm growing a bunch of lemon starbursts this year, and if you saw my update, oh man, I almost killed all my lemon starbursts. It was it was bad. I left so I transplanted the lemon starburst into these pots, right? And then I left the pot sitting in the sun because it was really cool. The temperature was really cool, but the sun was out, like I mean full sun. And so I ran back inside because I had to do some work, and then I forgot about them. I came out, oh my gosh, they were drooping. So I had to take them out of the sun, put them in my tent, and now they're like super struggling. What are my 5 favorite chili plants, like of every variety? So I can name them pretty easy. I'll tell you. The Kingstar White Tie is my number one. The Lemon Starburst is number two. Let's see. Uh, Last year or the year before, I grew the Ahi Omnicolor. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love that variety. If you have not grown the Omnicolor, try it. They're so beautiful, and they taste good too. They have a little bit of heat, so I like those. Let's see what else that I really like. The Brazilian starfish. I love the Brazilian starfish. They taste amazing. I mean, they're like a snack peppers. When I grow them, every time I go into the garden, I pick a whole bunch, like a handful, and I eat them as I water my plants. So Brazilian starfish are like just such amazing plants. Let's see, the Jay's Peach Ghost Scorpion. I love that variety. If you have not grown the Jay's Peach, I think you should look into it. They're just super awesome. They taste great, and they are really, really hot. I love all Scotch bonnets. Like the MOA Scotch bonnets is basically the parent to the King Star Lemon Starburst, and those are just amazing. And if you want something that looks great and grow really well, and like doesn't have a lot of heat, you can cook with it and all that stuff. You can try like the Santaka, which is a Japanese pepper. And I mean, they grow like in like bundles of clusters of peppers, and they just look awesome. So yeah, I would recommend doing that, and growing it for fun. So yeah, the Bahamian goats, heck yeah, that is one of my all-time favorite as well. Which is the also another parent to the lemon starburst. Great, great flavor, very nice kick to them, and it's very sweet. And if you make like a like hot sauce out of them, you like them a lot. Beaker, I'm a secret saucer. Yeah, the lemon starburst is very, very hardy. Like, if you saw my update, I thought I killed all of them. They're just so bad. I mean, they're badly damaged, and somehow they did not die. They're just so tough. And so, yeah, the lemon starburst, you just neglect them, and they'll still grow. Oh man, in Indiana, there's 39 degrees right now. Wow, that's yeah, it's not ready yet to be the season's not ready there yet. We just got through the cold. I think the cold weather is gone. Rock, I did grow ahi cherry pita before in my arrow garden, and man, that variety, if you want a variety that produces like a million pods, the ahi cherry pita is one of them. I mean, when I grow this, I get tired of picking the pods. There are just so many pods that sometimes I was like, halfway through picking one branch, I just quit because there's just so many. So yeah, ahi cherry pita is definitely a good one. 22 degrees in Alaska. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh, we are in zone 8A. So spring is really here. How's my apple grafting? Apple grafting is awesome. I even grafted an apple onto a pear, and then a pear onto an apple. So I have an Asian pear, which is the Hosui, grafted onto one of my Fuji apple, and it's been 2 years now. And the pear graft that's on my apple has a fruit right now. So if you guys want to see what an apple uh, grafted onto a pear look like, or a pear grafted to an apple look like, you should check my video. I showed it. It looks really awesome. I didn't know it could be done. I just tried it for fun, and it worked. Wow, 31 in Illinois. That's yeah, that's pretty cool. Black Mamba. Spring is here, but sometimes it feels like summer already. Yep. Texas is that way. Sometimes in springtime, it feels just like summer. It's crazy. Have I ever grown Trinidad perfume? Yes, I have grown Trinidad perfume like probably 4 or 5 years ago. It's a nice variety. It does have a really nice aroma to it, but I don't know why it's called perfume. It doesn't. When I grew it, the it didn't smell like perfume, but I'm not sure why it's called perfume. Maybe the aroma, but it wasn't very strong. Right now it's 86, feels like 92. Yeah, the sun is man, it just heats up everything. Like my plant, in Texas is really weird. It's like It goes from cold all the way to hot like immediately. So your plants sometimes look great one day and the next day start to droop because the sun is beating down on it so much. London, like purple Thai peppers are fire. Yes, you know, there's another Thai variety. Actually, no, that's not a. I'm not sure if you guys ever heard of the cobra. Yeah, I think it's called the cobra pepper. I think it's a Vietnamese cobra. Man, that thing is super super hot. For it looks like a Thai pepper, but it punches like a reaper. It's very hot. The leaves turning yellow because the plant doesn't have enough space for the roots. No, I think leaves turning yellow usually is because the first sign is overwatering. Overwatering will turn the leaves yellow very quickly. So check your container to see if it's too much water in there. That's the first sign. Another sign of yellow leaves, like I just showed you guys right here. Look how yellow this leaves is. You see that? And this is because it's been bleached by the light. It touches the grow light like this. And so that's why it turns yellow. So sometimes when it gets too close to the grow light, it starts to burn. This is called a sunburn or light burn. So it'll burn and turn yellow like this. And this is not because the plant is unhealthy. It's because the light I had, it grew so fast. It hit the light like this. And so it turns yellow. But usually if you get yellow leaves, check how much water you have in your container. That's usually the case. What are some good Thai peppers? The Kingstar White Thai is excellent. I love that variety, and it's one of my favorite all time. Let's see there's another variety like the Thai Dragon. Those are awesome. I love those. The regular Thai, just regular Thai pepper, Thai bird's eyes are great. Yes, my MTN grow station is actually growing this one right here. This is what's sitting under the MTN grow station. Oh, guys, just in case you missed it, I showed this earlier, and I was telling people that when I drink boba, which is like the boba tea, I save a container, and then I grow this in a container. See, it has a straw that came with it right here, and the container and I thought this container was really nice and elegant, so and so I saved it and I grew this. And look at all the flowers, guys. Just in case for the people that missed, I showed this earlier. And look at the canopy. It's look how short this is. It's wider than it's tall, so it's much wider. You see it, and it's not very tall, but there's so many peppers on it. Wow, we have 76 people. 76 people. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me on this beautiful Saturday. I think after this, I'm gonna go outside, cut some arugula. I got like 3 raised beds of arugula. I love growing arugula. If you if you see my video, I grow arugula everywhere. Have I spoken to Chris lately? Yes, I talked to him on chats and stuff. I think he's on vacation right now, enjoying his time. So when he comes back, I think I'm gonna get with him and maybe we'll do a live together. Chris Chris is a genius when it comes to gadgets and electronics. He's very good with building things. He's supposed to make modification to the Botanium. Have you guys seen the Botanium system? So Chris is gonna make a Wi-Fi attachment to the Botanium, and then we're supposed to do like a grow off, challenge with each other. Please try a hempy bucket sometimes. I'm not sure what a hempy bucket is. Let me look it up and see. Hempy bucket. Oh, that one. That's the self-watering containers. I made a bunch of those before. Yeah, I made a bunch of those similar hempy bucket container. Those works pretty well. Self-watering and all that, and it reduces the amount of times I have to water. Uh, Ace, let's see. What percentage do you run your SF4000 on? The temperature inside my tent is real hot. Yes. Okay, so Ace, I have a 4x4x6 grow tent and an SF4000, and I also have a fan. I did a tour before for my SF4000 grow light. So I had a fan that I bought off Amazon for like, I think it's like $14, and the fan blows air onto on top of the grow light, because that grow light gets very hot. And so especially in the summertime, man, my garage is already hot, and then the light itself is very hot. And so I have to cool it down by having a fan run on top of it. And without the fan, you cannot touch the light. But with the fan running on, you can actually put your hand on it. It's still pretty warm, but it does reduce the heat. And I always recommend having a fan blowing air onto the unit, because it helps with the longevity of the light. Because if it heats up so much, it might burn out the diodes or something. But it does help when you have a fan running on top of the light to cool it down. And it works more efficiently too when it's not too hot. And so, yeah, I mean, I run it at 100% all the time. And usually what I do is I'll raise it if it's too much, and I'll lower it if the plants need, more intensity. But the SF4000 is an awesome grow light. I've had it for like 3 years now, and I'm still using it. Do you supplement your soil with nutrients? Uh, are you asking about the soil in my raised beds, or the soil when I grow in system like this? This is soil right here. And with this, yes, I do supplement with hydroponic nutrients right here. And I feed it through a straw, and it'll feed the plant through here. So the nutrients will come down here, and it'll saturate, and it goes up to around right here. And then, the roots, you see how the roots keep all grow down? And that's how this is strong. This plant is very strong because it has such a nice root system that travels all the way down to here. And so this is where it gets all the food that it needs. And with this system, you can do it in many ways. You can use soil, which I did because I didn't have anything else. So I used soil, but you can also use perlite if you want to, cocoa coir, or peat moss. Peat moss is, it may be a little salty, but so I just go with soil because that's the cheapest way to do it. And so it's almost like it's kind of like a hybrid system. You have soil. The basic soil is just a medium to keep the plant standing. After a while, there's really not much left in the soil, and so you have to supplement with nutrients. Lost. Thank you so much. I'm glad you find the videos helpful. And yeah, I usually try to make videos simpler so that people can follow, because I used to watch videos, and when it's too difficult, I just turn away because like I don't want to mess with it. I want it simple, and then once I learn it, and then I can complicate it on my own. So that's the idea. So I'm glad you like it. Yes, KCD Garden is still going. Let me see. I haven't. Yeah, it's still there. I haven't added much contents to it, But every year I try to add something new because every year I try to grow a new pepper variety. I try to grow a new vegetable variety, and then I'll add it to KCD Garden. I try to take as many pictures as possible because it helps you to identify what it is. And if you want to grow it, you really want to see it first. That's really important to me when I grow either peppers or vegetables and stuff like that. I want to visualize it. I want to see what it looks like before I grow it. Because the looks of the plants are really important to me. Let's see, Ken, what is the life expectancy of the Carolina Reaper, Trinidad Scorpion, and the Ghost? Usually only 2 harvests of pods. The plants usually die, what, 6 to 9 months? No, the plants, Reapers and Trinidad Scorpion, they can live up to 3 years. If under the right condition, you can keep these plants up to 3 years. For me, I usually keep them for 2 years, and I mean the second year is actually when they produce the best because that's when they're at the most mature. So yeah, if you live in Hawaii, your climate should be good to be able to keep them all, alive for at least 3 years for sure. Maybe you might have to cut them back a little bit once they get to toward the end of the season. Cut them back a little bit, give them a little trim, and allow them to kind of like kind of mimic the temperature in places where they're not perennial. They should grow pretty well in Hawaii. Yeah, we have a friend that is on Pepper Lovers Community that lives in Hawaii, and he has a Hawaiian pepper variety that is 15 years old. So that's how I know that some varieties of pepper can live up to 15 years because we saw the picture and the person verified that that plant lived for 15 years. I've never I've never grown a pepper plant that long before, but so I didn't know that it was possible. But yeah, it was possible. Have you ever grown using coco coir and hydroferts? Yes, I have used coco coir. Let's see, most popular. Yeah, you're right. The people that grow cannabis, they use coco coir and fertilizer. I saw in some people that grow the cannabis, they use a drain system, sort of like a fill and drain. So they'll fill it up with the nutrients, and then the plants gets what it needs, and then it drains down, and then it repeats every so often when the plants are certain, you know depending on how old it is. And that system works pretty well. Yeah, yeah, the ebb and flow. That's right. I think that system works well. Yeah, flood and drain or ebb and flow, those worked really well. I've tested it myself, and I actually like that over constantly having the roots submerged, like a DWC system, where the plant is always underwater. And I think the ebb and flow or the flood and drain that works much better for I think it's because the roots are not always submerged, and so it's able to take in more oxygen and also at the same time takes in a bunch of the nutrients that it needs, and then more oxygen just result in better plants growth. Yeah, there you go, Morgan, you're right, better oxygen flow, that's right. Yeah. Coco Core has been proven to work really well. Um, I think the reason I didn't use it is because I didn't want to pay for the prices of these cores. I think they're a little pricey. I looked it up before. Let's see, bigger. I bought some seeds from Puckabuts. They don't seem to be reapers. The pods are very different phenos. You know what? That you're not wrong about that. I did buy seeds from Puckabut. This is a long time ago. I think when the Reapers was very early in the stage. And when I got it, it looks more like a ghost than a Reaper. And over the years, I started to trade seeds with some reputable people that have been growing it and isolating it and all that stuff. And then I get like those round, the round Reaper primo looking pot, the round with the tail. And so after that, those are the seeds that I saved to grow into the Reaper. Last year, I bought a Reaper from Home Depot. And when I got it home, I grew it alongside the Reaper of my own. And the one from Home Depot has a very long shape, and it didn't look good. And the one that I had of my own seed is round with a tail. So always, you just grow from seeds that you trust. Sometimes when you buy it, they may not look like Reaper, even if you buy it from Pucker Butt, because I don't know where they get their source from, and I don't know if they call it open pollinated or not. It could be cross. I don't know, but sometimes you may not get the Reaper that you're expecting, especially if you buy it from Lowe's or Home Depot. Even the picture that comes with the plant, it doesn't look like a Reaper. It's longer than a Reaper. So and because of that, a few people mentioned on the pepper lovers community that the Reapers may not be stable, based on where the seeds you get from. So they may not be. I don't know. What am I using primarily for fertilizer right now? I am using the Dynagrow. Where is it? Let me show you. This, the Dynagrow and the Dynabloom. And the reason I'm using this is because I'm lazy. It's just a one mix for vegetation, for vegetative growth like this here. No flowers, no nothing. I go with the grow. And then once it has a flower like this, then I switch to the bloom. And of course, you supplement cow mag and stuff like that. The cow mag, amazing. It does help, with keeping the fruits and helping the plant produce abundantly, and you don't have those rot and all that stuff. So yeah, even if you use the bloom, I still add cow mag with the bloom to help my plants look better. And so yeah, that's what I've been using. Over the years, I've used so many. I've used like the general hydroponics. I've used, let's see what else. Was it the master blend? Yeah, there you go. I use the master blends are really actually pretty good, and it's probably the cheapest. But because it's three parts and it's particles, and you got to mix it and stuff like that, excuse me, it does take much more time than the Dynagrow. For the Dynagrow, what I do is I'm very lazy, so sometimes you shouldn't follow what I do. I just put water, like a gallon, and then I drop in 5 milliliter of cow mag, and then I shake the gallon up really well, and then I put the bloom in and I shake it up really well, and then I pour it onto my plant. That's it. That's as simple as I do it. Um, I don't even check pH anymore because I mentioned before I lost I broke my pH meter, and I just never bought a new one. I just didn't check anymore. So far, it seems to be okay. It still produces pretty well. The bloom should go in before the cow mag. You know what? Uh, I don't know. That may be, but when I mix it, I put the cow mag first and then the bloom. I did try the bloom first and then the cow mag. I didn't see any difference in results. Maybe I should test that. Whole coin. Yeah, that's a good experiment. I want to test that because when I mix it, I always put the cow mag first and then the bloom. But in the past, I put the bloom first and then cow mag, and I didn't see any difference. And so I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna experiment. Am I growing tobacco? You know what? Every year I don't grow the tobacco. The pods that from last year, it just drop and then it just grow. And so I pick one or two plants out and I just grow that. CalMag locks out the whole nutrients. Okay, that's good to know. Maybe I'm gonna do what you say now. I'm gonna put the bloom first and then CalMag. But you know, I've tried it both ways, and yeah, that may I need to do that. I need to test that. So I'm gonna go with what you just suggested: the bloom first, and then CalMag. Yes, the a good pH meter can cost you between $40 to $60. Don't buy those $12 ones on Amazon, guys. I purchased a few of those. You use it for a few, maybe a few weeks, maybe a month or so, and then they break. So get yourself a good meter. The reason why I recommend a good meter is because it will be consistent after you know what is that, you maintain it, you make sure that it's correct, and then it'll work for a while. But those cheap ones, they just break, and then you have to buy a another one, and then another one, and it'll just add up to the good pH meter. And and then you have to calibrate it often too. It just doesn't stay consistent when you calibrated it. Is Fox Farm Tiger Bloom okay? I've heard a lot of good things about Fox Farm. I've used their soil. Their soil works great. They're a little bit pricey, I guess, because the soil is a better mixture than the regular soil. But Fox Farm, I heard a lot of good stuff about it. I have not used the Tiger Bloom. I've been sticking to the Dynagrow and the Dyna Bloom because it's the easiest for me. Yeah, I don't use pH down anymore. Um, it's probably a bad thing, but I'm growing kohlrabi right now, guys. The kohlrabi is like the size of my head right now. It's enormous, and I've been growing that. If you check my video, I did 2 videos on that already. The giant kohlrabi, and yes, for that grow, I didn't check any pH at all. I just I just added the nutrients, and that's it. But you should always check your pH. Make sure it's between 5.9 to 6.1, 6.2. As long as they're under 6.5 and above 5.5, in that middle range, it should be good. But yes, you should always check your pH because plants are able to take up all the nutrients necessary for best growth within those pH ranges. I don't check it because I'm lazy. I mentioned it many times. It's not because it's not because I don't want to. It's just I broke the meter, or and then I didn't want to buy a new one because it gets pretty. The meters are very expensive. Yeah, you can check ppm. Ppms are great. The reason ppm is good to check is because there is a if you look on the internet for the ppm chart of certain vegetable, it'll give you the right amount for the ppm, and I highly recommend just going by the recommended ppm for those plants because it'll give you like the best growth results. And so if you keep it consistent, it's great. SR, thank you so much for the donation, my friend. Thank you. Yes, ppm you should check, and pH you should check. What do I think about the AeroGarden liquid plant food? I've used it over the years because sometimes when you buy it, it comes with one. It's great. The AeroGarden plant food is great for vegetable like and herbs like basils, lettuce. Any of the greens, they're great for those. But when you grow like fruiting plants like tomatoes and peppers and stuff like that, you need a little bit of CalMag along with that to give it the best fruiting and best to grow. But if you're just growing veggie greens, it's perfect. It's good. Oh, and another thing, guys, I do use CalMag in my soil sometimes. Sometimes when let's say my tomatoes suffer from you know what is it, the blossom end rot a few times, I just take some CalMag and mix it with the water and just water my tomato. It worked. Sunil, good. How are you, my friend? Thanks for showing up. Yes, I have used bone meal. Yeah, I've used bone meal and blood meal too. The A lot of the stuff that label organic bone meal and blood meal, I've used that, and in the soil garden, and it worked pretty well. But you know what works the best so far for me is this compost pile that I made over the years. So I had this huge plastic bin that I bought a long time ago when it was a clearance. I bought it like for $40, and I just left it outside and I piled compost on it. And over the years, and man, these composts are so rich in everything. I throw like fruit scraps, like grass clippings, eggshells, and anything that of course not meat. Sometimes I throw a newspaper in there too, and cardboards and stuff like that. I just throw it all in there, mix it up every once in a while, and it's been sitting there for a few years. And every season I use a little bit of it. You dig out the bottom, you use it, and the plants. Oh man, my kohlrabi that I'm growing in a trash can bucket, that I'm using the compost that I made. The leaves are just like, I mean, they're like enormous. I need to show you guys. It's just ridiculous how big the leaves are. But yeah, so if you can make your own compost, you get really good natural fertilizer for your plants. Let's see. Be nice. I want to get into hydroponic. pH meters are wide in terms of varieties. In terms of variety, yeah. What brand do you recommend? Like the pH meter, right? Let's see. There's this one that I've used over the years. It's called the what is it? I forgot. Uh, I think it might have been by Dr. Meter or something like that I used. And that's the one that it's kind of like it's pretty big and it has a round bottom and the round top. And I mean, I've used that one. It lasts for a long time, and then it finally broke after a few years, and I just never bought another one. But you always want to invest in a good pH meter. That's always I would over the years of how many pH meter that I bought that keep breaking. I invested in a good, nice meter. It cost me like 40 maybe $60. It's expensive, but it's worth it. Don't get those $12 or $10 pH meters. Those will break like pretty fast. Let me see. Let me look it up on Amazon for you. I always forget what the name of it is. Let me see if it's still available on Amazon. They sell so many of these cheap ones that just don't work very well. Where is it? Oh, you know what? Maybe I can check my orders and my old stuff if it's still there. Ah, here it is, Dr. Meter. That's right. It's not available anymore. Here, this is the meters that I use, but it's not available anymore. I'm not sure why. It's by Dr. Meter. Yeah. And so I don't be nice. I'm not sure why they don't sell that one anymore, but that's the one that I use and I loved it. It works great. It stays in sync for a long time. And once you calibrate, it seems to just stick to that calibration mode for longer than those and I don't have to recalibrate for a while. And yes, guys, when you have pH meter, make sure you calibrate it. I say like every 2 weeks, just check the calibration because it does help with keeping your plants consistent. And here's another thing that I always would recommend. So like measure your water and know what pH it is. And then when you get either when you use pH down, use a medicine dropper, and then drop the medicine, count how many drops, or you drop into a measurement. That way, you know the exact amount, how much you need to add to your water each time. And then if your meter breaks, you still know how much to add. That way, you don't mess up. So be consistent. So what I used to do in the past is I use a medicine dropper, and I drop and I count how many drops there are to get to the pH that I need. And then after I broke my meter, I just I just count the same drops, and that's good to go. What are my personal three favorite pepper strains? If I'm not biased, outside of my own varieties, I love the Brazilian starfish. I love the J Peach Ghost Scorpion. And let's see what else. I love all of the ahi varieties, especially the ahi omnicolor. So yeah, there's so many varieties that I love, but at the top of my head, those comes pretty quick. The Jay's Peach Ghost is always one of my favorite. Let's see, sticks, Sirion. How much does the bottle size affect the plant size? It affected quite a bit. So pepper plants are very, um, they adjust very well. They're very adaptable. And so anytime the plant sends roots down and then it starts to wind around like this, and it becomes root bound, the plants automatically know like there's no more room. It's gonna start to grow flowers right away. So the plant, I don't know what is crazy. The plants just know once the root has nowhere else to go, and it just shoots down, and it detected there's nowhere else to grow, and it start to wound around like that. It'll flower. So the smaller the container, the smaller the plant. It's always that way. So I've grown so many plants already in every different size containers. And with certain pepper varieties like the Chinense varieties, you can give it like a 30 gallons container and it'll grow massive. And then you put it into like a 5 gallon and it'll grow a good size, but it won't grow as big. And if you put it into a 3 gallons, the size is even get reduced as well. So yes, the planter size will reduce the size of your plant. Yes, Mars. You would love those. The Brazilian starfish are very sweet. They're super crunchy. They're just absolutely gorgeous plants, and I eat them like a snack. I just eat them every day. I get like 5 at a time, and I'll just eat them just for fun. The Jay's peach, I make hot sauce out of them. I put them in my tacos. I put it in my burgers. I made I infused the Jay's peach goes with my vodka. I mean all kinds of stuff. You're gonna love it. SR, yes. Pak choys are cold weather plants, cool weather plants. So sometimes, yeah, I've had that before. I left them outside in a cracky setup, 5 gallon. The container froze, not all the way. It froze at the top, and then once it unfreeze, the plants still live. I don't know how. It's just it's alive. And my kohlrabi, I left my kohlrabi outside all season long, and we had this extreme cold weather came through, and it froze everything. And then the leaves on my kohlrabi, it's almost like if you break it, it'll snap like ice. And then once it thawed, it came back to life like nothing happened. It's the craziest thing. I should make pear vinegar and then use the vinegar for hot sauce. That's a great idea. I love growing pears. Yes, the containers size affect the plant size, and it does affect the fruit size too. If there's too many fruits on a small uh, pepper plant, the fruits are usually slightly smaller than usual. If you pick out a lot of the fruit and allow like just a few, the fruits are like normal size. They get pretty big. But that also depends, if stressed out plants in hydroponic, like if plants is always stressed out all the time, and then it somehow it produce like a gazillion flowers, and then the fruits are like super tiny. A lot of people that grow plants in hydroponic like, wow, I have like a million fruits, but the fruits are so small. Yeah, Sunil, I think I mentioned this a lot of times when some growers they like to stress out their pepper plants, and when you stress your plants to to the extreme, what it does is it causes the plant to be very weak and sick looking, and then when it produces the fruit looks very deformed, and it drop most of the fruit. You get like just a few, and those fruit taste horrible. I mean, they taste really bad. They don't even taste like what it is. And if you have happy plants, for me, you get like nice tasting fruits. The fruits look amazing. It's nice and shiny. The shapes are perfect. The pepper leaves, it just looks good. And so happy plants will produce better tasting fruits. So don't stress your plants out, regardless of what people say, like, oh, stress out your plants, it make it hotter or whatever. I never go with that. I think happy plants are just much better. Yeah, happy plants, happy gardener. Yeah, you're right. Craig, I should do more videos of my recipes. The reason I don't is I'm a horrible cook. I'm not very good at cooking uh, most anything. I like to grill. I like to make side dishes, and I like to do fermentations and stuff like that. And so I make very simple things. And so that's one reason why I don't make a lot of recipes, because I don't know um, I don't measure when I cook, which is horrible. But I just know what I like, so I don't measure when I cook. So I need to, in order to share recipes, you have to measure, and that's my problem. I don't measure anything. Oh, that that punching bag right there. Yeah, over the years, I tried to stay active because um, just trying to keep in shape. Because when I had my first kid, um, I used to be in pretty good shape. I bike a lot. I cycle like 9 miles a day, like 3 times a week. And then when I had my baby, all that stopped. And then I put on more weight than I wanted to. And so that's the reason I bought that. And then it just sits there looking at me. So I don't even use it. SR, I know how to make kimchi. Actually, I do. I love making kimchi. Kimchi radish is one of my favorite things to make. Oh man, I make that with super hots, and it'll kick it up a notch. Another thing that I think I make really well um, is what is it? Chili oil. I make a really killer chili oil dish. I gave it to some friends, and they like it. They want me to make some more. Are there fruit trees or berry trees that like tightly packed roots? Not the fruit trees. Fruit trees, most of them, at least the one that I grow, they like to have the space to crawl out. Maybe berries, like, well, actually not berries, but I grow ground cherries. Ground cherries, you can pack them pretty tight, and they'll grow just fine. Have I ever grown coffee plant? I have not, but I used to help my grandfather grow a chili tree, a coffee tree. Sorry. When I was younger, I helped my grandfather grow coffee trees, and we used to pick the berries and then sun dry it and all that stuff. So yeah, I've done a bunch of those. I don't know how to do it, but I was just helping him. Have you traveled out of the United States before? Yes, I mean, we go on vacation out to Mexico. We do that pretty often, like once a year. I haven't been to Asia in a long, long time, but when I grew up, I live in Vietnam. I've been to Malaysia. I've been to the Philippines. I've been to Thailand. Yeah, Chili Chomp does really good fermentation videos. And his quality is pretty good. All right, guys. So thanks for joining me. I have to get going now because I got to go pick up some food for the family. So thank you for joining me this Saturday. It was great, and I'll try to do this again maybe next week. Bye, everybody.